So here we have a, what's this, 87?
89.
89 Ford Orion. 1.4?
1.4L.
1.4L. First of all, let's just take a little note of the condition. And if those of you who remember Orions can remember Orions, then you'll find that this thing is remarkable. And we'll find out just how remarkable and why in a little while. So there you go, straight from cold. And I've got to say, you've just got to take in the remarkable condition of this car. There's no rot, there's no rust. There's a tiny little dent on the boot lid, and obviously it's been sitting still, so we've got a little bit of start-up smoke from the exhaust. But other than the little bit of damage there, it's in absolutely remarkable condition. But we'll get to find out why in a minute. Give us an idea of how you come to acquire 47,000 mile, pretty much immaculate, but lowest of the low in terms of trim and whatever else, Ford Orion.
Pretty basic spec. Well, we knew the car from you, and I bought this a few years ago. I shared it with my dad and brother. I tend to keep it at my place, and my brother uses it occasionally to take to shows. Obviously, COVID stopped us doing that for a little while, but as you can see, it doesn't get a lot of use. In fact, you can see here it's home for a few spiders at the moment as well. It hasn't been driven much recently. It's a real survivor car. It's never been painted, it's never been welded. I think one of the things that helped it survive is this was actually built in Germany. Here's a real anorak fact about Ford Escorts and Orions. The cars that were built in Germany are lacquered under the bonnet. So good old British cars built in Dagenham or Hailwood, they weren't lacquered. So possibly it was better rust-proof than new. As I say, it's spent most of its life in the garage. Its condition really speaks for itself. It's never, touch wood, been in any accidents I'm aware of. It's got a few dents, I think, where the previous owner had backed into a few things, but apart from that, it's pretty solid. If you come around and see in the boot, it's paint's like new under the boot lid.
So one thing that happens with old cars is when you get to the boot, and it used to have gas struts that hold it up, we've now got the very obligatory broom handle. It's a broom handle. But as you can see, again, condition-wise, just having a look around the car, everything, other than the tiny little bit of damage here, it's as it came out the factory.
Also, the original owner really looked after it because he made up a little, like his own boot liner out of a piece of carpet just to protect the original liner that's still underneath it.
So this will just give you an idea of how good the car really is. As you can see, never painted, never welded, never damaged. There's not many of them out there like that. And what are your plans with it? You plan just to keep it standard?
Absolutely, yeah. I think it'd be a shame because it's so rare just to start modifying it. I certainly wouldn't lower it or put alloys on it. It would look nice with a different set of wheels, but I think it just is nice to keep it as it is. It's such a survivor.
Absolutely.
Never find another one in this condition.
And what do you intend? Are you going to paint this? Or is that just part of its story?
I think eventually, no, I think I'll probably get that sorted out. I have been half looking out for a decent back bumper, but I want to get one the same as this so it looks original.
Yeah.
It would be a shame to start modifying it. There's some little bits I've kept, like for example the original owner had put like an open, made his own.
No central locking, remember?
He had no central locking, it's the real base model. But the mats were made by the original owner from his bedroom carpet.
Have you got any idea of how many of these are left? Certainly in 1400L terms, there can't be many.
Oh, correct. Yeah, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, I think quite a few have survived. The 1.6i gears were much more popular because back in the day they were popular because they had the same performance pretty much as an XR3i, but the insurance is a lot cheaper because it was a four-door saloon rather than a hatchback. You could get cheaper insurance, but these cars are kind of used and abused. Some would have been reps cars. They just were a throwaway car. I mean, I looked on the internet. I went to howmanyleft.com and it tells you when cars sorry, how many cars are left of a particular type, and you can see, and I think it was around 2001, the number of Orions just fell off a cliff. Literally, it must have been. I guess they all rusted or failed their MOT around the same time. They got to the same age and kind of all disappeared. So this is a real survivor car. It's one of the few. I certainly haven't seen a 1.4L on the road for a long time. I know there are a few. If you go onto Facebook, there's Ford Orion forums, and I've actually seen an identical car to this on there, so they are out there. I recently went to a Ford meet, and there's a chap there got an automatic one of these, an L, which was even lower mileage than this. I think they had like 16,000 miles. So there are cars surviving, but they're few and far between.
And everything in this car is original, so nothing's been touched.
Nothing's been touched.
It's even got its original wheel trims, number plates, the lot.
Totally standard. There's no modifications at all.
And I think you can hear from an 89 car, so we're talking about, what are we talking about, 30 odd years old now?
35 years old.
35 years old, and on the face of it inside, you could almost be in a very modern car. It's very quiet, it's very comfortable. You could certainly use this on a long journey. Okay, it doesn't have the creature comforts of a modern car. We've got no electric windows, no air conditioning, and we will have to open the windows in a minute because it's getting very warm in here.
We can put the sunroof out.
Or we can open the sunroof.
Just showing off now.
A little bit of manual labour there. But it just goes to show that how far I think cars have advanced from the Vauxhall that we saw earlier. We're talking about 25 years on. This would still keep up with modern traffic. It's still a modern car. And you could use it every day, quite happily.